All right, guys. So I actually already recorded a bumper intro for the beginning of this show, but I have to do another one because I totally forgot a couple things. Our friend Rachel from Hollywood Crime Scene podcast, she is doing something incredible. She's riding her bike 545 miles from San Francisco to LA to benefit the AIDS life cycle. I guess you'd call it a bike ride. I don't know. Tour? I don't know, but it's to end AIDS. This is her third year doing it. It's from June 3rd to June 9th. And she's trying to raise money. She's at 50% of her goal. The goal is $5,000. So I think we can do this, guys. I think we could tear this thing up. Head on over to, I made a special website that'll redirect you right to her page. It's ihatehorror.com/HIV. And it'll send you on over to her page where you can donate. Join her team. I don't know if she wants you to do that or what that means, but hey, it's an option. And she's raising money for the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the LA LGBT Center. These organizations provide healthcare as well as life-saving treatments for people who otherwise wouldn't have access. So it's really important. So go on over, help Rachel out. She's my friend. Just do it. Just fucking do it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Also, I totally forgot to give a shout out to our homie, the Tormented Teamster, over at Genre Fix. And you can check out everything that he has. He's got a new track out, but you can find his YouTube page, his Twitter, his website. If you go to ihatehorror.com/song, you can listen to it. You can download the MP3 version of the song and check out his new song. And yeah, man, check that out. He's a great guy, Timo. And I think that's it. So here's another bumper to start the show. This episode of The Horror Show is brought to you by Zach Graves, Allison Thorpe, Adrian Martinez, and my homegirl, Hillary Berryhill. Thank you guys all so much for your donations. We really appreciated it. They donated over at patreon.com/ihatehorror. Also give a shout out to Jess Baker and Brenda Robbins for hitting me up about, I don't know, some movie. Oh, Microwave Massacre. They hit me up about Microwave Massacre. One of them knew who Agent Sophie Johnson was.
Thanks.
What?
For Microwave Massacre?
Yeah. What about it?
You're thanking them for that?
Well, no, they Paul's here, by the way.
Hey!
Right. So this episode, it was a switch. So coming up next, Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan.
Okay, I stopped paying attention in class. I was thinking about the adventures of Ash, about the misfortune of sitting kids at Crystal Lake. Became addicted straight away with the initial tape. God bless Betamax. VHS, holy like Amanda Kruger. I was introduced to genre flicks by Toby Hooper. I started craving more just like Larry the Looter. I collected VHS without commentary or bloopers. Store computers, magazines, a bunch of stores. Spent my money on movies and begged my mom for more. I'd watch the boys kill those Astro bastards 5 times a day or even more. I loved the gore. Lionel and Paquita combined their lonely hearts. I was hellbound, Cenobites tore my soul apart. I've seen them all, from Dracula to Vertigo. Listen up, welcome to The Horror Show with Sean and Joe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Horror Show. Show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
Well, Joe's not here.
Yay!
He just got home from Chicago, so he's not joining us. It's just me and Big Pizzle.
For shizzle.
Big Pizzle for shizzle. Saying inappropriate shit that I'm going to have to probably edit out of life. So we're doing it, though. Have we ever done an episode just you and me or no?
Yes.
We did?
I think, yes.
That's interesting. I thought we might have
I don't
tried.
recall what it was.
Yeah, I have no idea. I thought we might have tried, but then gave
miserable.
up. It always is. Just like this week, Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan. This is Andrew Wayer's, I don't think it's a Patreon pick. I think this was his I Hate Hurricanes pick for donating to the Hurricane Relief Fund.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, buddy. This is on Amazon Prime if you want to slog through a pile of shit.
I never know with like the Patreons and I Hate Hurricanes if they actually like it.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, there's no way anybody likes this movie. There's no way.
It's like we just got straight trolled. They're like, fuck Sean. I'm going to make him watch something really bad for 2
that's
hours.
What a lot of people do. There's like a lot of different ways people do it. Some people think they're so bad it's funny. Whale watching Massacre fell into that category. To me, it was... I don't know how I feel about it, because I kind of liked it.
I did too.
But it was also very bad.
But I also watched it after watching Axe Giant.
That's true. I watched it first. Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan. It's on Amazon Prime. It's, I'd say it's in the vein of a sci-fi movie. Sort of. Like a Birdemic. Same special effects.
Yeah,
which are
like
terrible.
Made for TV sci-fi original type flick.
Yeah, it's really fucking bad.
But with more CGI blood.
Dude,
but
so
yes,
much CGI. Like
you can hardly tell though. It almost looked good.
If you can't afford good CGI, why would you make everything CGI? So CGI must be cheaper than practical effects at this point, right? Like that's what it must boil down to. Or people
How could that be?
It's gotta be. Well, I guess when they look like that.
Well, yeah.
How many times does Paul Bunyan change size? Not when he grows, but just from scene to scene.
All right. First of all,
sometimes he's like
he's big enough to easily drag a van. And then he's way bigger than a house that he could like fall onto it.
Yes.
And then he somehow walks under like a 12-foot bridge.
It's so fucking bizarre. It's so their aspect ratio or whatever you'd want to call it, their like field of vision was all sorts of fucked up in this movie. It was really fucking bad, man. It was really fucking bad. Sometimes it wasn't bad though.
But mostly it was.
Mostly it was. Definitely mostly it was. This is directed by Gary Jones. Actually, you know what? Before we get into this movie, Paul, let's have a real interview here.
Oh, shit.
Paul, this is the craziest shit. We haven't even talked about it on the show. Like, I've wanted to mention it on the show, but we haven't. So you had a medical fucking emergency recently. And to me, it's the fucking craziest... It's the craziest fucking... So, Paul... Okay, so this story is interesting because... So this was Super Bowl weekend.
Yep.
Okay. Paul sends us a snap of himself in the hospital. Like as if nothing had happened. and Joe is immediately like, hey, are you all right? And so at that point... You were
should mind his fucking business.
At that point, you're like, I'm pretty sure if I have this correctly. At that point, you were like, yeah, I dislocated my shoulder playing hockey.
True.
Okay. And then you kind of went, you were like, I'm getting out of the hospital in like a few like hours.
Yes, I thought so.
Okay. And then radio silence.
Yeah.
For like...
Confirmed. Well, more than a dislocated shoulder, I just didn't feel like telling you guys.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I thought I was going to just go home.
Wait. So what? Wait. So did you dislocate your shoulder?
Yeah.
And that's why you went to the hospital?
No.
You went to the hospital because...
I had a stroke.
Way to blow the fucking... blow the lead. Yeah, so did you know you had a stroke when you were in the hospital though? Like, so you were in the hockey game.
Yep.
Paul plays hockey. So he gets hit. He dislocates his shoulder.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like a non-hockey injury almost. Like I wasn't skating, didn't get hit in the boards. Somebody just came up behind me. Mm-hmm. The puck went into the corner. Somebody came up behind me, kind of just, our legs got tangled and I fell backwards. I didn't have any forward momentum. So when I fell, I basically, all my weight was going straight down and I put out my left arm to absorb it, but my elbow was completely locked. So when I fell, my shoulder popped out forward.
Okay. And then, so you dislocate your shoulder.
So I dislocate my shoulder.
Are you awake or do you like pass out? Okay.
No, come on. I skated over the bench and then I asked somebody to put it in.
Okay. So somebody
the guy's
pops. Oh no.
So the guy was like, there's no way I'm doing that. He later told me he played junior hockey and that one of his teammates tried to put a shoulder in. Instead, they broke the guy's clavicle because they did it wrong.
Oh,
so they're like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
But somebody in the other team's wife was actually a nurse practitioner. So I just met her like right in the walkway that goes underneath like the stands. At like the old Hartford Civic Center, the Excel Center, that's where it was. And she popped my shoulder back in. And when she popped it in, I like almost didn't even realize it. She told me it was in because I was imagining, you know, like in a movie, like in Lethal Weapon, you have to bite your bite down like a pencil or a stick because when they pop it, it hurts so bad. I mean, the whole thing just hurts so bad. So when it went in, it was just like, oh, holy shit. And then she's like, well, what do you want to do? And then by then EMTs got over. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'd like to finish the game. And they're like, okay, well, you probably can because it's not like lacrosse or something where your arms are up. Your arms are down. And it was my left shoulder that dislocated. I'm right-handed. So they're like, you probably could if you wanted. So I just went back out there and played the next 2 periods. I actually scored the game-winning goal, which is funny because I play defense, so I don't score a ton of goals. But I actually scored the game-winning goal. It was like unreal. And then, so then,
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I just went out to eat in Hartford, and then like 3 hours later, I had this like.
So you made it home?
No, so I was playing in a charity game, which was great. Fucking charity game. Got injured. Never been injured in like a real game. So you also get tickets to the Wolfpack, which is like the New York Rangers minor league affiliate. Yeah. So that game was at like 7:00. The game I was playing in was at 3. So there's like, you know, 2.5 hours between whatever, between when I got hurt and when the other game was. So I finished my game, went out to eat in Hartford, went back to the Excel Center. I was on the concourse, like having normal conversation, and all of a sudden I couldn't answer. I couldn't respond. But I didn't feel any different. I just couldn't answer. But like in my mind, I was like there. I understood what was going on. I had like full comprehension. I didn't black out. Like nothing happened. I wasn't dizzy, no double vision. But I just couldn't do anything. And I was like, this is fucking weird. And I was like, I'll be okay in a second. Turns out I was not going to be okay in a second. But my parents were actually with me. Because I was like, oh, this will be fun. They haven't seen me play hockey in forever. I'll bring them. So it was a great experience for them. They were really thrilled.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So basically.
Was your girlfriend there or no?
No. She had book club. Okay. Yeah, she was just drinking wine or something. I don't know.
So like the whole time you have no even a remote feeling weird prior to that.
Well, I mean, my shoulder still fucking hurts.
Well, yeah, I guess that.
But no, I didn't really feel that weird. I just couldn't respond, and I was like, "This is so weird. I don't know what's going on." But I know what I want to say. Like
so here's
everything. I just can't do it.
Can I? That's really interesting because I've never met somebody that's experienced that, and I have not a stroke. I was at Toad's place at a concert, and I crowd surfed. And I got dropped backwards.
Oh my God.
And hit like the fucking top, like the fucking crown of my head on the like, you know how like it's the fucking concrete floor there?
Yeah.
I hit my head on the concrete floor and it's the only time I went out, like lights out. And I woke up and people were like pulling me up and they were like, hey man, are you all right? Like, so I knew like it looked bad. It looked as bad as it felt. Cause these people looked like they were terrified. Like they were like, holy shit. Cause I must have been like a limp body on the ground. And in my fucking head, I went, yeah, I'm fine. But what came out was just, and I was like,
foam,
like just noise. And I was like, what the fuck? Like in my head, I was like living in my own brain. And I was like, I'm trying to talk, but like nothing's coming out.
God. And
then like it took like a couple minutes, but like those functions.
Dude, you must have had such a bad concussion.
I know, and I went to bed right after. I was actually with my cousin's husband, and he was like, "Don't tell your mom." Like he was so afraid that my mom was going to be mad at him. Yeah. I was like, "Why would she be mad at you? I was the asshole crowd surfer. Like you didn't make me do that." Anyway, okay, so you can't talk. You're with your parents.
Yeah, so I can't talk. I couldn't talk for maybe like a minute and a half. My father went over to grab an EMT, and there was actually somebody walking by who was like a firefighter or something and saw like I was in trouble. So he came over, started like doing an eye test, follow the finger, vital kind of thing. And he was asking me questions and I knew the answer to, but apparently once I could finally speak, I said all the wrong shit.
Really?
And and then he asked me something else and I was like, it's February 3rd.
Was it February? Oh.
And it was.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, that's the weirdest thing. He's like, you just tried to tell me that it was June 16th. And I was like, well, that's my birthday. I was like, maybe I misunderstood you. And the guy's like, that's so weird. You were just out of it and now you're fine. So I went to go see the EMTs, basically. EMTs did blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. And then my father's like, well, I saw his lip start to droop.
No. Really?
Yeah, because when he was...
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that had happened, but apparently my father saw it. And he's like, his eye doesn't look right. And the person's like, his eye looks fine.
I'm glad your dad was doing their job for
my dad's like, I've known him for 32 years. He doesn't look right. So they're like, all right, go. Gary was about to fucking murder someone. No. So we had to, I took an ambulance to the hospital. Because I took an ambulance, I got right into a room. I didn't have to wait, thankfully. Yeah. And the doctor walks in with like his clipboard and he's like, oh, so you're here, got a dislocated shoulder? And I was like, yeah, yes, that happened. That's a thing, but that's not why I'm here. I would have just gone home because I'm an idiot. But I was like, yeah, I had this weird spell, which Joe thinks is the funniest thing.
I do too. A bizarre spell.
I had how bizarre. It was a real bizarre, dude, like D12. Yeah, I had a bizarre spell. And
I'm so glad you brought that up. That really was like...
Well, that's what I told him. I was like, I don't know how to describe it. I had a bizarre spell. Well, what else do you call it? I don't know. I know it's
stroke?
I didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
It's just a bizarre spell. So they're like, yeah, you probably won't be able to drive for like 45 days, blah, blah, blah. I started telling me all this shit, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I started recounting what happened and telling them, and they're like, wait, you remember this? And I'm like, yeah. And like, you didn't hit your head? And I'm like, I don't think so. I know you can get like whiplash without hitting your head, but like, and they're like, so you didn't have a seizure? And I was like, no. And the guy's like, And I'm like, and I noticed that I started to slur my speech and I couldn't say like certain things. And
at that moment still.
Well, right afterwards, right after when I could finally talk. And the guy's like, hold on 1 second, and leaves. And then 3 nurses come in. And I think they gave me like baby aspirin, which is a blood thinner essentially. And they rushed me to have CAT scans because at that point they realized, holy shit, he didn't have a seizure. He obviously had a stroke. Wow. So they gave me one CAT scan, didn't find anything. Gave me a second CAT scan with contrast, which is like they put it in you. Dude, first of all, the dye, I've probably had to piss for like 2 hours, but I'm waiting, like, and then they have to do this contrast thing, and they're like, by the way, it makes you feel like you're peeing.
Oh yeah.
So now I lay down, I'm in the tube, and they're like, by the way, we're going to scan your head, so don't swallow. It could ruin the scan. Yeah. Like when you're in the dentist, like you have to swallow like every 4 seconds. It's the worst. They make me sit in this fucking cylinder for like 15 minutes, and all I'm thinking is, oh my God, do I really have to piss? Or is it the contrast? And I have to swallow so bad, and they won't run the damn thing. And they finally run it right as I'm like swallowing. Of course. It ends up, they don't find anything. It's okay. But they're like, we're going to keep you overnight. I was like, fuck. Now they're going to keep me into Super Bowl Sunday. I thought I was going home. They gave me an MRI that night. The next morning, they're like, yeah, so MRI came back. Turns out.
And that's when you snapped us. Me and Joe. Must have been around this time. It
was Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
Or it was like maybe the day before.
Yeah, so I was there Saturday to like Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I think it was Radio Silence Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday you pop back in. You're like, what's up, guys? I had a stroke.
Motherfuckers? Yeah, so they come back to the MRI and they're like, oh yeah, you have a small dot. It's a stroke. It's smaller than the size of a pea. It's on the left side of your brain, controls the right side of your face and the right side of your body. And that's the part of your brain that controls like speech patterns and stuff, which is why you couldn't respond and then you slurred.
Holy.
Yeah. So, but basically And I had to follow up with the neurologist, and they're like, well, that actually is, he was like convinced. He's like, there's no way that has anything to do with your shoulder. That's just a coincidence. I was on a flight the night before I played that hockey game from Minnesota, which is like maybe, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. But I sat on the tarmac to de-ice because it was like cold as balls.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting on a plane and you don't move for a while, you can get blood clots.
Yeah.
So basically,
Was that from the injury, the shoulder thing?
no, they don't think it is.
You just got a blood clot just sitting there?
Just being on a plane. So then they're like, all right, well, let's figure out what happened because there's nothing in your upper body that we saw from the scans. Who's tapping their foot?
Okay, keep talking.
I had a stroke. I don't know. So,
So you're right.
yeah.
It's got a mind of its own.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I forgot to tell you. There was about a 40-minute span where I had total facial like paralysis. Not funny. It was scary as fuck.
Wait, when was this?
This was like Saturday night.
Oh, really?
Before that, like after the CAT scans, before the MRI, because it came back. And I was like, dude, what am I going to do? And I was like, all right, I'm just not going to talk to my girlfriend and pretend nothing happened. And then I was like, fine, I'm going to have a fucking sick Two-Face costume next Halloween. It's going to be like off the chart. No, that was super scary. That was the scariest part.
I'd be terrified.
And I remember my dad ran home to take care of the dog and came back. And like I was in the waiting room with my mom. My mom's like a rock. She's like OG. She don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
My dad comes in. I saw his face. I was like, dude, this guy's about to cry or something. No. OG Gary's about to fuck somebody up. He's probably gonna go back to the rink and murder that kid.
Yeah, yeah.
So
the guys that were like, hey, he looks good.
He's fine. He's fine. So yeah, they don't think it was shoulder related though. They think it's a blood clot from sitting on a plane. So they're like, all right, well, now here's the thing. We can't conclusively say what it is, but we can find out what it's not. So like, we're going to do all these other tests. So they basically give me an ultrasound. It's called an echocardiogram. It's essentially ultrasound, same thing you do with babies.
Yeah.
On your heart. They're like, you have a regular heartbeat, nothing irregular, no murmur, but there's a hole in your heart. I'm like, fucking great. This is awesome. And then they said, probably a quarter to a third of people actually have it. When you're a baby, almost everybody's born with it, but most time it seals up.
Yeah.
Now you could live your life totally normal because if a quarter of people have it, you never hear about it. It doesn't affect you unless you're like a professional athlete and you're hooked up to like tests and shit. So basically they're like, the problem is if you get a blood clot, instead of going through like the 4 chambers of your heart and getting filtered out or something, the path of least resistance, it could go from one side of your heart through the hole and then go up, which is what they think happened to me. And then it went up to my brain. Essentially
like it's just all bad luck.
Yeah, clotted, no oxygen gets there, that part of your brain dies. Luckily I don't use majority of my brain, so cool. So far so good.
This is fucking mental, man.
Yeah. So then they had to do another ultrasound of all my legs and a CAT scan of like my pelvis. Thrusting. Just to make sure there's no more clots, which there were not. So I was good. And then they let me go home.
And that was it.
Well, they made me wear a heart monitor for 30 days. It sucked.
Fuck, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
It's fucking mental. I've been wanting to talk about that forever. So you are a stroke victim.
Stroking, baby. Stroking.
Man, was your girlfriend like, holy shit? Like, when did you get to talk to her finally?
Well,
like, she's probably like,
so
Paul.
My girlfriend was with Taylor's wife.
Oh, okay.
And Taylor's like, hey, you want to do something? I was like, in the hospital. Don't tell my girlfriend.
Did you tell her?
I don't think he did.
Oh, wow.
I ended up calling her because I was like, hey, just so you know, don't worry, but I'm in the hospital tonight. But I think I was like, I'll be out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought I would be. And it turns out I didn't. So she came and visited. She parked in the wrong parking garage. Fucking noob.
Oh, man. That is fucking crazy, dude. That's so fucking crazy. I'm glad you're okay, though.
Me too.
That's fucking terrifying.
It wasn't good.
I remember, like, I've told so many people. I've been like, I get this.
It was very educational, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot out of it. I mean, I was just like, can you believe a 32-year-old man can have a stroke?
Oh, dude, there was nurses that were just popped in, and they're like, oh, hey, just want to check on you. I heard you're like 30 and and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to, like, they wake me up every 2 hours to make sure I'm not having like a neurological relapse. And they do all these tests, so they're all constantly waking me up. And there's fucking people randomly coming in to check up. Hey, are you okay? All right. And they're like, do you know most people on this floor are 60 to 70? And I was like, dude, like, trying to pull my pud. I did not do that. I would have got caught so quick.
I would be curious. I don't know if I could either, but to go a whole weekend would be rough without masturbating. Could I do it in a bed sheet? I don't know,
dude.
And it's also just gonna make it'd just be a lot of issues,
dude. I want to
probably not, dude. First thing on your mind.
So I had to sit in like the same room for like 4 days.
Yeah.
So I like want to take a shower, and one of the nurses like, oh, well, you can't take a shower because you're hooked up to like heart monitors. Yeah. You know, totally reasonable. It makes sense. At one point they gave me like a little remote one so I could get up and go to the bathroom myself. I didn't have to bother anyone. But they're like, oh, you didn't have a bath yet? They're like, we can set you up, like put in for a bath. But they said like they have to order a bath. Okay.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend may have been there. I think my parents were there when this happened, and there was like a nurse there. This woman walks in with like a basin and a fucking sponge and bottle, and she goes, "I've got your stuff for a sponge bath."
Did you send her out?
Dude, I'm like, I can wash myself. And she looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, I know. I was like, fuck. I was like all nervous and shit. I was like, dude, does this woman expect to sponge bathe me in front of my parents or something? And I was just like, I can do it myself. And she just goes, I know. And I was like,
that's the funniest shit.
I was like, God damn it.
Oh, fuck. Well, Paul's alive. No stroke can take this guy. So can you still play hockey and shit, or like?
Yes.
Okay, well, that doesn't sound like
Suckers.
a very... can you watch Paul Bunyan? Imagine if Paul Bunyan gave you a second stroke.
As long as it happened in the first 10 minutes, I would have taken it.
All right. Strokes are no laughing matter. Dude, how about on the Killdozer episode?
I remember those news reports.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about it.
Do you remember when some other guy went to like an armory and stole a full-on tank?
Yes.
And he got caught in like a Jersey barrier kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like just, dude, insane. What the fuck is wrong with people also?
I don't know. Well, but why would he think the Killdozer would work? Also, why did they call him Killdozer? Valid
Just
point.
big fans of the movie.
It'd be like, we've been waiting to use this headline forever. All right, so fucking Paul Bunyan after that. We might as well just wrap this episode up because we have like a 30-minute special at the end of this from Joe and his friends in Chicago, his coworkers. That is one of the funniest things.
They watch Paul Bunyan?
No. Well, they watched part of it and they kind of honk about it, but they kind of just talk.
Okay.
Him and his coworkers. It's legitimately some of the funniest shit I've ever heard. So that we're going to tack that on to the end of this episode. So that gives us about 15 minutes to talk about Paul Bunyan.
All right.
Which honestly, I don't have a problem with because this movie was so fucking boring. On top of just being a bad movie, it was genuinely boring. Like, if you're going to go with the insane premise, do we need the backstory of all these people? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they tried to make a movie.
Also, was there a main character in this movie?
No. And they killed off the fucking one guy that you were like, I thought you were supposed to hate. Killed him off like second. So, directed by Gary Jones. He did 1994 Mosquito.
Dude, this guy is the man.
He did a 2000 flick called Spiders.
Guy loves arachnids.
Did a 2002 flick called Crocodile 2.
Death Swamp.
Loves fucking animals. And then he did Boogeyman 3. You got two name brand actors. Character guy. I would barely call him name brand. You got Dan Haggerty, who was Grizzly Adams. All right. He's probably the biggest star.
That's pretty legit.
Movie. He's legit, but he's dead in the first minute of the fucking movie. He'll come back for another minute to die again. And that's it. So Dan Haggerty's in it, which is cool. Fucking the mountain man himself, Grizzly Adams. And you got Joe Estevez, Uncle Joey, uncle to Emilio, Charlie Sheen, Renee, and old Ramon Estevez. They put that on Wikipedia. Like, by the way, did you notice that this does not have a Wikipedia page? This movie?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
It did not have, but the soundtrack does.
I don't even remember the soundtrack.
There's no music in the fucking movie, Paul. I don't know what the fuck. Boy. Anyway. Also, do you remember that giant Paul Bunyon we had in our town at the House of Doors?
Yeah.
That was fucking weird.
Is that still there?
House of Doors, the daughter bought it and turned it into a trampoline park.
No.
I swear to God, it's probably out of business already. Because this just happened. And then I don't know if the Paul Bunyon's still out there, though. I mean, where the fuck would they put it?
This is a great question.
You have to leave.
There's two iconic giant pieces of shit in our town. One is at Paul Bunyon, and the other one is like when you're going down towards Southington.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Route 10.
The glass guy.
The fucking... I thought he was made out of like hubcaps and shit.
Oh, maybe he is.
You know, the one that's it's all like welded together?
Yes, he's the welded man.
Yeah.
And next to him, though, is a welded tree, but it's got glass bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that thing's a giant piece of shit. I mean, I remember it fascinated me as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, that's lowering the property of all these values. Yeah. That's blight. I'm pretty sure that's considered blight. Get that shit off your lawn. Anyway.
Remember Glenda the Goose?
Yes, which always gets stolen.
Yeah.
Like every week.
I may or may not have a friend that was arrested for taking a head, yeah.
Which one?
It was my brother's grade.
I always wondered about that. My mom was always pissed when somebody's told you, like, why are they stealing? It's like, it's a fucking goose and probably costs $12.95.
They're high school kids.
And also she's a grown woman that dresses up a plastic goose on her front lawn every fucking season. It deserves to be stolen. If you're going to act like a child, you get to be treated like a child. Hope none of our fans dress up fake gooses in their front lawn. Anyway, so there's a bunch of guys outside a farm. They're lumberjacks. They're roasting some food. And then
it's clearly like a giant piece of plastic mold. Like, I see the guy poke it.
Yeah.
It like doesn't move at all.
He's like, it's almost done. And the way the guy tests the meat is by poking it. He's like, it looks great. And then they go out into the woods. And that's when trouble strikes. And they get massacred by...
Instantly. The guy takes a piss and turns around.
By this disgusting thing. He's like a mix of like Funhouse bad guy.
Yeah.
And like Leatherface.
But he's not that big, by the way.
He's normal
human size.
He's normal human size.
I want to point out that he's normal human size.
He's a human man.
But this is in 1894.
Which, by the way, they're wearing like Lands End thermals and boots with fucking like metal grommets and shit on it. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. It's fucking mental. So I thought it was actually, at first I thought it was supposed to be old fashioned. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's just, it's present day and they're in the woods. I mean, at the end, that was my takeaway. Present day, or maybe a couple years ago, but in the woods. It was 1894. We'll see later. We cut to present day. We see a woman picking up a bunch of kids from jail. Or a guy picking them up, and there's a woman there. They're all dressed. I don't even know. They're all wearing khakis and nice shirts and Ray-Bans and shit. They're not in prison, but they are. They're in a first offenders program to... get the get out of jail free card, as the guard will tell us. The acting is abysmal.
Yep.
At best, it's porn acting. A dad drops off one of the fucking felons. They're all felons, by the way. All these people would be in jail for hard time. they explain each one of their crimes.
Yeah.
One's like assaulting a police officer.
One stole $13 million.
Grand fucking larceny.
13 million. No, get out of jail free.
No, go on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Redeem yourself. It's insane. And so this other felon gets dropped off, and it's a girl, and she was in a drunk driving accident and she didn't kill somebody. It said with bodily harm, right? So
And then she just tries to make it right. Like, it's not
everybody does. None of these kids, there's not a bad.
That's what was weird about it.
It was super fucking weird.
And I think she's our main character.
She is, but
she's
awful.
not as well, because she like disappears and she actually doesn't do anything.
And her dad calls her babe.
Really?
Regularly. Like 3 times. Like,
that.
hey, babe. And I'm like, you do not. And I was thinking in my head, because I call my son a lot of names.
Do you think they kiss on the lips like Tom Brady?
100%. And she's like 18 years old.
That girl was like 35.
Well, they all were. It was insane. Okay. Also, there was one other actress that I did want to bring up. She wasn't famous, but she was in a movie called Anal Breakup.
Was she the one that played Miss Thornbush? Is that what he called her?
I don't know. She was the one that got naked for a second. Naked for a second. That kind of rhymes. Anyway, so here's the thing. These characters, you don't know who's bad, who's good. Every kid has a shitty attitude, right? So you're like, okay, that makes sense. This girl's kind of the goody two-shoes. She doesn't seem to be super pissed off about anything.
Yeah, but she's also the drunk driver.
She's also, like, to me, the most heinous of the crimes, right? Like, you're fucking drunk driving and you hurt somebody. We don't know how badly yet.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the most heinous one.
I forget what all of them did.
I do too. So
but like, yeah.
I hope it's not like rape, and they're like, "Oh, you see our fans?" Like, how could you? Yeah. No, I don't. We forget the other one. But it's like bullshit.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, assaulting a cop,
is not bullshit.
Not great, but you could kind of tell where they were going with it. Where it was, they were going to reveal, and every single one of them was like, she was like, the cop was grabbing my ass, so I popped him and got arrested.
I wasn't trying to steal 13 million.
Yeah, it accidentally came in my bank account, and he's like, I didn't spend it. And there's a couple. Everyone explained themselves. And by the way, that happens right now. They get into a van, and they're literally like, "So, what you in for?" And literally everyone has an out for it. And her out is, besides being, you're still a drunk driver and an asshole. You are also, it's the most insane story of all time. I don't know if you even caught it, because so she was driving drunk. Somebody else was driving drunk.
And she didn't have a chance to stop because they pulled out in front of her?
No, because a guy was walking and she ended up, I think she did it on purpose. She crashed into the other drunk driver on purpose.
Like Christian Bale in Dark Knight. When he's
to stop, yeah. She crashes into. She's buzzed. By the way, you'll hear that word thrown around as if it's makes it better. And she's buzzed driving, and she crashes in. She's like, this guy wasn't stopping, so she crashes into him to save this pedestrian who's walking his life by crashing head on into a drunk driver. And but they're like, so is he okay? Like the other driver, and she's like, yeah, he's fine. Everyone's fine. And they're like, you deserve a medal for that. Yeah. You saved that guy's life. You don't deserve to be here. You deserve to be free.
I think this movie's putting off all kinds of messages.
It's so
and some of these
weird.
Mixed signals
It's so fucking weird. And the counselor's like, well, I don't know if she deserves to be free, but we're all here for a reason. They're like, fuck you, miss. Really weird shit, though. And like, yeah, like you're saying, like from the jump, you're just like, this isn't right. Like something's wrong about this. Who am I supposed to fucking root for here? Because the counselor's also weird.
The guy's in charge is a total dick.
The guy in charge is a dick.
Because the counselor's like, I'm not going to sleep in there with you in the cabin. And he's like, you're damn right. You're sleeping in that tent by yourself.
Well, he's a fucking nightmare anyway. He keeps calling, like, he keeps calling the drunk driver. He's like, oh, you want another sippy? Like, he makes fun of all of their issues. Like, it's fucking wild. But the problem with that is, so if he is the main You know, there's always the asshole in a horror movie, and you wait till the 3/4 mark, and then you fucking off them, and it's a satisfying kill, right? You get
Or
the one
they
satisfying
redeem
kill.
themselves.
Or they redeem themselves. This guy gets killed off. He's the second guy to die. Least satisfying thing I've ever felt in my life. And on top of it, he does like help him at the end. Like, even though he's an asshole, he was also not a bad guy. Like, he was trying to be a strict drill sergeant.
Yeah.
So, like, he was an asshole, kind of a piece of shit, but in the end, wasn't really trying to hurt anybody. Also, these kids are felons. Yeah. Let's not forget that. And one of them could have murdered somebody. Like, it's fucking crazy. The whole thing's fucking insane. It makes no sense. He calls them stumps. Stupid teenagers under my protection. And then the woman's like, well, they're not all teenagers. I would have fucking... Shut the fuck up,
Maybe
lady.
that's why I told her to sleep in the tent.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, ruining my joke. Anyway, so he throws her out. They go camping. That's the big thing. They're going on a retreat. They're going to chit chat, talk about their problems, and do physical challenges with the sergeant. What a way to get off fucking felony.
What, doing physical challenges with...
You imagine? And by the way, they're pissed. Like,
Oh, yeah.
They're not serving hard jail time, and they're like, I'm not sleeping in that.
Yeah.
Fucking. They thought they were sleeping in the cabin. They're like, I'm not sleeping in there. They're like, he's like, yeah, you're sleeping in the fucking woods. Fucking. Actually, I think I like the sergeant more and more. Like, he's like, yeah, of course not, you fucking pieces of shit. You're sleeping in the fucking woods, which is all. The felons are out free in the woods.
I know.
And the guards inside.
I know.
Which also comes into play later because he lets them wander around and then it's like, hey, where'd you two go?
No supervision whatsoever.
And that actually happens right now. Well, first Joe Estevez shows up.
Jeez.
He plays this guy Meeks, but I'm just going to call him Joe Estevez because it's a funnier name than Meeks. He shows up and he just starts screaming at the kids and he's like, woo, woo, woo. He's acting like the crazy woodsman, but he's dressed again like a Land's End catalog.
Yep.
He's just wearing 2 flannels to show how crazy he is.
Yeah. Looks like me normally.
Yeah,
wearing a bunch of flannel
he's
and
wearing
shit.
nice jeans. He says something about like he references animals crawling.
Yeah,
he's
he's
assholes
clearly going to be your mangle expert.
for sure. And boy, is he.
Yeah.
Boy, does he tell you the longest fucking Paul Bunyan story. Hey, fun fact.
Can I call timeout? Yeah. Is it a Paul Bunyan story?
Yeah.
In the credits, the guy's name isn't even Paul Bunyan. Did you notice that?
No. What's his
name's Gunnar Wolfgang Bunyan.
Wait, are you sure that's not like...
I'm pretty sure. And he's played by a former professional wrestler named Johnny Paradise.
Wait a minute.
His name's Chris Hahn.
I'm just curious if I know Johnny Paradise because the name sounds so familiar. Oh, Chris Hahn. No, I don't know this guy. Oh, yeah. So he must have played. Yeah. So that's... What's his fucking name in it?
Gunnar Wolfgang Bunyan.
Okay. Well, the movie's called The Wrath of Paul Bunyan.
I know. I'm just confused.
All right. Well, we'll get to there. We'll get there. So the kids are out in the woods. We meet this fucking crazy guy. They say, don't worry about him. He's harmless, I think. 2 kids start fucking. Means nothing. Then the sergeant wakes him up by saying... Drop your cocks. Drop your cocks and grab your socks. Which, to me, I don't understand it. Like, oh, because everyone's just jerking off in the morning, I guess.
I don't know.
Drop your cock. I think there's a Chemical Brothers song called "Drop Your Cock." Drop your cock. It's a fucking joke. It's
Remember
terrible.
the Dust Brothers?
Yeah, that's
And Korn?
Didn't we talk about
Kick the
PA? They go out for a hike. And I could care less about this story, man. We are going to fly through this movie, thank God.
Let's do it.
Because, I mean, this movie is so fucking boring. Like, I was checking the time on this regularly and could not believe it. You don't see Paul Bunyan really till the 40-minute mark.
Is it that far in?
Yeah. And deaths don't start happening until like 45 to 50 minutes. And it's unbearable. It's fucking unbearable. So they go for a walk. Joe Estevez is playing Chest Alone, which I guess is to just show us how nutty he is, or just to fill in time. You could have cut the fucking time down to an hour 35. Get the fuck out of here. Two of the kids go up to the hill. They find a horn. Literally a horn. Like a bull horn. Did you know what it was when they picked it up or no? Did you even think about it?
I had a feeling.
See, I didn't even think about it. So I was like, oh, that's pretty clever. And then realized it wasn't.
I love when the guy is running with the horn like that. You know, it's blowing air through it. It's like, brrr. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course. I just love that a fucking horn of a bull made a noise like a fucking...
like it's completely hollowed out. Like.
Yeah. Like as if any horn you could just... like any animal horn you could just pick up and blow. It was unbelievable. But he says he's going to make a ball. He picks it up, brings it back to the camp, and people are upset. I don't know why, really. They're just like, why would you do that? I'd be like, all right, you're a fucking idiot. Why would you
Middle of woods in Minnesota.
Also, you're a prisoner. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to make a bong out of it. And then like pretends to like rip a bong.
Wait, does he say that?
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
But that's because he immediately picks it up and just goes, as if it's a fucking musical instrument. And you're just like, what is happening? Why is any of this happening? At the bar, we learned that girl whose dad dropped her off for prison and waved goodbye to her and mouthed I love you to her as she drove off because she almost murdered people drunk driving. He's really upset. He's at the bar talking to the townies, which is a fucking nightmare. I'd rather go to the Vic house than watch this scene.
Come on.
Remember that guy that used to do karaoke?
No.
No, all right. Anyway, I want to talk about it on the show. Anyway, we're talking about Townie Bar. That sucks. So this sheriff is this girl's dad. He's at the bar. It is the longest, most god awful scene, besides second to the Paul Bunyan. It's the tale of Paul Bunyan, where he is the sheriff of this fucking town. And he's like, hey, do you know this guy that runs the prison camp? And they're like, oh yeah, he's crazy. He killed a kid up there last year. Like, how does the sheriff not know this guy?
I know.
Or just pull it up on his fucking
Doesn't he
computer?
work directly with this guy?
Yes.
How would he get sent prisoners?
Even if he like sent him away to a larger prison, the sheriff of the town would know.
Of course.
It's fucking asinine. He literally has no idea. Like, he can't even recall his name. He's like, I think his name's Sergeant Hooper or whatever the fuck. Pepper.
It's not Sergeant Pepper. Sergeant Hoke.
Sergeant Pepper. Yeah, Sergeant Hoke. Yeah, anyway. So the guy tells him this guy killed somebody. So he's like, oh, better go up there.
Yeah.
Better go up there and intervene in judicial process. Imagine if your sheriff dad showed up and was like, I'm taking you home.
I'd be so embarrassed.
Both people would be arrested.
Let me stay.
Both people would be fucking arrested. Anyway, Paul Bunyan, we finally see him. He's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
He's just wandering around. He's fucking gross.
He's like 60 feet tall.
At this point, he's about the size of Earth.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why is he so big?
Well, I don't know. Why is he so small at the end?
That's another question.
So, yeah, I don't know.
They basically said he went in a cave and just kept getting larger. But how do you get like fucking 60 feet tall? And
Joe, Paul, I'm so used to lecturing Joe. Paul, I have no idea. They don't, this movie makes no sense because you can't tell whether it's they just didn't know how to make the ratio properly. Like, so like for this scene, I think it was just, they were like, well, let's not show him all the way. Let's leave a little suspense for the viewer. So they just made him enormous so you can only see his fucking calves. His calves. He walks up to a tree and his kneecap is up to a fucking tree. A full-grown tree. And then later he will probably be under that tree just hanging out, picking apples. Using a stepladder to pick apples. It makes no sense. So they just made his sizes
I like that you noted you were staring at his calves.
I was.
I was more interested in his ox. Bovine jokes, people.
Big blue ox. So the CGI, by the way, is also off the charts terrible. like it looks fucking bad.
They green screened
Everything.
things that didn't have to be green screened though. It was like a close up of a guy holding a horn, and like that was green screen. Did you notice that?
They green screened the
They put
entire
fake backgrounds on everything.
Yeah, the farm sequences were all green screen.
What a shithole movie is.
And it made it look terrible because again, they didn't use any type of ratio.
Yeah,
So things were like blown up.
That's what I don't get though. They were actually in like the woods. You could just get a shot of that.
Fucking crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. So we meet we've met Paul Bunyan. He's walking around and he's pissed off. He sees that his shit's been tampered with and his bullhorn's been stolen. He's pissed and he lets out a big roar and they're like, hey, is that a mountain lion? It's literally a man screaming. It's like, yeah. So Paul Bunyan fucking attacks.
Yep.
Jumps in, man. He just gets into it and he fucking is down there. He chops off. No, who does he kill for? Oh,
The girl.
the girl is standing there trying to use her cell phone and she gets split in fucking half with an axe. Everyone runs. They split up.
Yeah.
There's like two groups. And that cop who they've been building up as a dick and an asshole kind of just gets cut in half suddenly.
How does Paul Bunyan sneak up on them? He's taller than the fucking trees.
Literally when he walks, it's shaking the earth.
And they come around the corner and he's just there.
Yeah, like, how has he been hiding in like... Anyway, so splits the sergeant in fucking half. Just cuts
So
him
he's dead,
in half.
right?
No.
He's so far from dead.
He's literally cut in half at the waist.
And talking shit.
And talking shit and giving them directions as what to. He's telling them to run as if they were going to stick around for the guy cut in half.
It just entrails everywhere.
Yeah, his organs are out, literally. And he's like, go on without me. Yeah, no shit, buddy. Oh, fuck. It's fucking crazy. And then they go in and they lock themselves in a home, right? In a house. This Paul Bunyan could literally just jump on the house and it's the end of the movie. Everyone's dead. But they hide there. And for some reason, Paul Bunyan's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Then they decide to go hotwire their car instead of just grabbing the keys from the cop. They go to hotwire the car and they bring for weaponry a wooden rake and a gun.
Yeah.
For a 60-foot giant. That bullet is going to do nothing.
And also, that camp counselor doesn't know how to use that gun.
Oh, dude, she's walking around like an asshole. The way she's standing and holding the gun is... It hurt. It hurt to watch. All she had to do is go take one gun class. Or ask a guy with a gun.
But isn't she
Ask
there
a
because
person
she
with a
is
gun.
like sort of a cop? As a counselor?
Dude,
like, isn't she some sort of law
At
enforcement?
first, I thought she was that guy's boss, and then he was just demeaning her the entire time. And I was like, why would you do that to your fucking boss? But so I think she's literally just a shrink.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. Why are we looking into this? So they can't go. The car doesn't start. So it was a wasted scene. Wasted fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, there's a kid inside the house holding a fucking butter knife as if he's going to stab Paul with it. It's so fucking weird. The car doesn't start, so they just go back in. They're like, well, we have to think of something else. And by the way, later on, we'll learn they're about 10 feet away from the exit of the road.
They must be so close.
At the end of the movie, they finally do run, and they just like run down a hill.
Yeah.
And they're at the gate.
I have more questions about that.
Also, Paul Bunyan, well, it depends, I guess, on how tall he is in the specific scene, but he's usually above the trees. You could probably hide pretty well from him.
Yeah.
like in the brush. You could roll down a hill and be fine. Anyway.
He does have that bird's eye view, though. It's not like a killdozer
Also,
hanging in the grass.
Paul stole the van.
He just drags it away. Like, shit.
Also, the teenager's inside just cutting his hand on the knife. Like, he's just holding the knife the wrong way and cutting his hand. And the girl's like, oh, you cut yourself. And they have this tender moment, which leads to nothing. Joe Estevez shows up, though, and they let him in. And Joe says, I can't believe you stole that horn. This is very, very, very bad. And then we learn the story of Paul Bunyan that we all know.
Yes.
The bodacious baby.
Yes, babe, get it.
And Joe Estevez says something that I've laughed at. So first he goes, it could be a blessing or he's like, this baby was very special. It could have been a blessing or a curse. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. He could have been like a big helper. Could have helped. He's big.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, well, he'll be twice as big and twice as strong as any man. Yeah, that's a positive. I mean, you probably won't be treated equally. Probably be tough to sleep. As I learned from the Andre the Giant documentary.
Anybody want a peanut?
That's a really good impression. But then he goes, but he'll have the mind of a child forever. Well, Joe, that sounds pretty fucking bad. There's no good to that. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
A giant with the mind of a baby.
Hey, Lenny, how'd that work out for you?
Oh, fucking Lenny. He was a good guy, though. So, yeah. So he's like, you need to bring that shit back. Oh, fuck. And I forgot the whole worst thing. He tells us the story, of course, of Paul Bunyan. Except this story is way different in the end. So we learn the backstory of the farmers or the lumberjacks, and that big piece of meat they were cooking was Babe, the blue ox. The greatest twist in movie history. And we get to see the worst CGI bull ever created.
It was insane. And it also looked like it had mad cow disease.
Yeah, for sure.
Only in half its face. It probably stroked out.
Well, you're the expert.
When it turned its head, what happened?
Yeah. So Babe the Blue Ox is killed by these lumberjacks for food. Paul Bunyan sees this.
Dude, that CGI was so bad on that bull, on that ox.
Fucking bad.
Like
It was painful.
really bad. It was really bad.
It was really fucking painful. And for some reason, he got more screen time than anyone. He's on the screen for so fucking long. And so Paul freaks out, kills them all, kills all the lumberjacks.
But remember, Paul is still normal size human.
Paul's a normal size human.
He's not even twice as big.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
They like rope him.
They rope him and chain him. They drag him to town, which is when I realized it was 1894 because it was the Wild West for some reason. Guys are wearing Doc Martens. It's fucking unbearable. It's so fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking crazy. It's 1894, and it's the Wild West. It was snowing on the mountain, but it's the desert in the fucking town. And so they've caught Paul Bunyan, and their punishment for Paul's actions is to throw him in a mine and blow it up. Seems rational.
Yep.
A mine where they're probably, they have resources that they need out of that.
Yeah.
Like they're still mining. The mines aren't dried up. They still need fucking
Yeah, we're
coal.
still mining.
Yeah. And these guys are like, you know what? Fuck it. As long as it kills Paul, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But it doesn't kill Paul. Paul
Just walks right out the back.
But he waits to grow in the cave. Well, no, he does escape.
He escapes and
normal
then he
size.
finds another cave. Because I think the townspeople thought he was dead. So
he was like, so I'm just going to hang out in this cave. It's just
and get 60 feet tall.
And he just keeps growing and growing, gets jacked and 60 feet tall. And that's the story of Paul Bunyan. And now he just wants to kill everybody. So anyway, that's the story. So the kid's like, well, if I fucking give him the horn back, we're good. So the kid runs out there. tries to give him the horn, and gets impaled by said horn by Paul Bunyan.
He throws the horn up into the trees.
Dude, that was so fucking stupid.
And then Paul Bunyan throws it back at about 200 miles per hour. Goes right through him.
Guys, it might sound cooler than it seems. It's awful to watch.
It does not sound cool.
And then while this is happening, Emilio Estevez, or Joe Estevez rather, is making a sandwich. This movie's exhausting.
Was
he? Yeah, he's made a bologna sandwich. He was like, oh, I'm hungry. And then he goes up to the girl, our lead, or what we think is the lead, the drunk driver. He's like, you look like his mom. And then pulls out a photo of Paul Bunyan's
A newspaper
mom
clipping.
from 1890.
That is 130 years old. He carries around a 130-year-old newspaper clipping in his pocket. I just want to point that out.
Just in case he finds somebody that looks like Paul Bunyan's mom. Oh my God. And he says something to her. I don't even know what he's trying to pressure her into doing, but he's like, you got to make good. So I think he's like, go fuck Paul Bunyan.
There's no way that would work.
Go breastfeed Paul Bunyan. It's his mom. He's not going to fuck his mom. But he will breastfeed. He's got the mind of a child.
That's actually a good point. You might be right.
I might be right. I'm not, because nothing matters in this movie. Well, Paul Bunyan finally is like, hey, I should smash up that cabin they all live in.
Yeah. That my foot's bigger than.
That they have food. Like, they should just... Anyway. They do this. Paul kills one of the girls. That didn't really matter at all. And one of the counselor shoots him in the eye with a gun. And he's just kind of like, and grabbing his eyeball. And another kid gets pissed and is like,
dude, the person he's known for one day.
He's distraught.
They just had a connection.
And to take out all of his rage, he picks up a fucking...
And also, Paul Bunyan has also killed 2 other people that he had just met the day prior, and he didn't give a shit.
So he picks up a stick and throws it at Paul Bunyan. And for some reason, that pisses Paul Bunyan off more than being shot in the fucking eyeball. Paul gets pissed. And doesn't kill him, though. He's got him cornered. Then Dad shows up.
Yep.
Dad the cop shows up. Hey, ugly. Shoots him once, shoots him twice, shoots him 3 times. And he does the biggest, most dramatic backwards fall into a house, the cabin. They think he's dead. He says, you okay, babe? To his daughter. And they proceed to try to leave. But who shows up?
Yeah, because he also, right after he's like, are you okay? He goes, we've got to keep moving. Those tranks won't last long.
Oh.
Thanks for tranquilizing them.
Wait, that's what he said?
Yeah.
You didn't bring fucking bullets?
No.
Bringing tranquilizers to a gunfight.
Yeah, I think he may have had bullets afterwards.
Well, that's fucking asinine. Well, I mean, I guess, whatever. Anyway.
Wait, he wasn't expecting to see Paul Bunyan.
No, I mean.
So why did he have tranquilizer bullets in the gun anyway?
To tranquilize the fucking
Sergeant Hose.
Sergeant. Also,
because he's reaming everyone out.
While that cop was coming up the hill to find his daughter, he sees the biggest footprint on Earth. And he puts his hand in it to measure. Like,
That's
wait a minute. How big is this? Is it bigger than my hand? Yes, it's bigger than your hand. You could lay in it.
It's bigger than your car.
They're about to leave, and old Joe Estevez shows up. And for some reason, he's like, I don't know who he is to Paul Bunyan, but he doesn't want him dead. He keeps calling him his boy, but it's not. Because it was
he's 150 years old.
Oh, fuck, that shit is funny. I don't know, but he's really pissed. But the bad news for old Joe Estevez is Joe Estevez does kill one of the kids.
Yeah. Chicken Little, see ya. I don't know his name. That's what the sergeant called him.
Yeah. Whatever. He had all these stupid nicknames. The other one was
Waitress Face.
Was that one of the names?
Yeah, that was a kid, Zach. The kid that stole the horn.
Face?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't what's his face?
Fuck me. No. It's Waitch's face because he's a pretty boy. Zach.
Oh.
What's his face?
Waitress face. Anyway, so he kills that poor kid, Chicken Little. And he's got the other ones dead to rights. And then Paul wakes up. And Paul has an axe that is probably 30 feet long.
It has to be.
It's enormous. The blade's got to be at least 16 feet.
The blade has to weigh 2 tons.
And Paul Bunyan throws it like sideways.
Pinpoint accuracy.
And somehow, first of all, if an axe that big hit you, you would probably turn into just a cloud of blood. Like it would just fucking destroy you. And somehow it does the cleanest cut and chops off Joe Estevez's head. And also the other people just duck and avoid near catastrophe. So they are alive. Paul killed his friend who was like legitimately trying to save him. And then Paul Bunyan chases these guys around. Do we really care about the ending? Paul's like chases them down the street. They get into a car.
How slow was this chase?
It was insanely slow because Paul Bunyan was just kind of walking behind them, which I know he's got a large
like T-Rex in Jurassic Park at least runs.
No.
He's straight up walking.
He is walking. The car's going slow.
To be fair, this girl CB's driving may not have been bad because she was buzzed. Because she was sober here and she was a fucking awful driver.
She was the worst.
She could not step on the gas. She could not hit the gas.
Also, I think he did jog a little bit because I do have a note that he looked like Sweetums from the Muppets. Hey guys, wait for me. When they leave the car lot. You forgot me.
Oh my God.
And the dad's just like shooting him in the back of the truck. He almost falls out, and I'm using that term loosely because he doesn't almost fall out. He just
rolls
riding on top of the fucking
wheel well. Yeah.
And then the girl loses control, which is her shaking the wheel, and she crashes and sends her dad fucking full
Dude, so far.
Glimpse into her drunk driving past right there. She launches her dad about 10,000 feet, but he's fine. He just gets up and he's like, ooh. They run to a bridge that goes to nowhere. It's a bridge that goes to a tower.
I don't know if it goes down, but why would it go down?
What was the plan?
I don't know.
What was the fucking...
There's nowhere else
and
to
why
go.
not just jump off the bridge?
Also, that bridge wasn't that long. Did you see how deep that water was?
Yes. Well, here's the funny part, right? So they look over the ledge, like, because Paul's got him cornered on this bridge, because now Paul is 12 feet tall. He's not large.
Yes. He goes from being so huge to fitting under the bridge.
Fitting under a very small bridge. It's not a vehicle bridge. It's a footbridge.
Yeah. I didn't understand it.
So he's fitting under it, and he's got him cornered, and he's walking up to him. And they're looking for an escape. They have nowhere to go. They look over the bridge, and they see rocks. Okay. So they're like, we can't jump in. They're at the furthest point in the bridge, by the way. So they should have the most water. Paul Bunyan will shortly fall off the bridge into the deepest ocean.
And when he falls off, by the way, when it shows like a different angle, he's like 700 feet out from the bridge. Did you notice that as well?
He floats.
He's so far out.
So they're cornered. Looks like curtains for our crew. But then the bar patrons show up with their guns and just shoot Paul Bunyan a lot.
I think one guy's like an Uzi.
They made an Uzi noise, but I did not see an Uzi in that audience, in that crowd.
You just put a bunch of fire on the end of a barrel. You go, pew, 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 pew.
It was fucking insane. And then, they kill him. He turns around. And he says, Mama.
Oh, yeah, I thought he said, Maribel.
Oh, Maribel?
I thought it was Maribel.
Who's Maribel?
His mother or whoever.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he said Maribel rather than Mom. I don't know.
Is her name Maribel?
I think so.
Oh, maybe he did. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
He fell off a bridge.
Sucker.
And he died. And then the bartender's like, I'm going to put that axe in front of my place, and they all lifted up.
Yeah, and one of them was like, no, you shouldn't. And he's like, come on, boys.
Everyone cheers, and that's the end, man. It was like one of the most pointless closing scenes. And then the weirdest part to me was the sheriff says, come on, babe, to his daughter, but also gets handsy with the counselor.
Yeah,
as if
real
they're
handsy.
romantic.
Real handsy.
Like, is like, got her, like my bride.
Yeah. I tell you, I noticed that.
So that's Paul Bunyan, man.
Woo.
Up next, you're going to hear a little episode from Joe V and his friends Mike and Amanda. It's about 25 minutes, actually. So this is going to be like a long-ass episode. But thanks to Mike and Amanda. Honestly, it's the funniest shit. Like, fucking way funnier than our show. I was honestly thinking of just handing over the horror show reins to them, even though they don't watch horror movies. But it's a great... They do talk about horror movies in it. It's really fucking funny, dude. All right, guys. So listen to that. And we'll see you next week. Paul and I will see you next week for Reykjavik. Or Harpoon. Whale watching massacre. All right. So for Paul and Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Peace.
Thank you.
Adios.
God damn it. Bye.
Dissect. Movies all fucking day.
Wanna play?
I'm gonna watch what I'm not supposed to watch.
Dismember.
Fucking zombie getting sliced and diced. A monster.
Mutilate. And butcher. That's it, guys.
Here in Chicago. Been here for almost 2 weeks at work with my two coworkers. One of them's really excited to record. One of them's a real piece of shit.
Shut the fuck up.
Here with Mike and Amanda. Say what's up, Mike.
What's going on? Horror
What's up,
show.
Amanda?
Hi, good people.
All right, she's talking. Say we're on our way to the Cubs game. Mike's super hyped to be on the show, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, man. I'm a huge fan of the show. I'm happy to be on. It's an honor.
So you listen to us?
Yes, absolutely.
What was that?
I said I don't know why.
Yeah. This is how my whole trip has been. Full of fucking headaches. So Mike, do you listen to us regularly?
Not as regularly as I should, because, I did just find out about it a few weeks ago.
131 Torturia.
I'm going for the sound quality. We're recording in a rental on my phone. I just wanted to get something out there. Can't have Sean steal all my thunder.
Exactly.
So, have you seen any of the movies that we've talked about?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
You've seen that?
I've seen Killer Clowns from Outer
Really?
Space, yes.
When did you watch that?
I watched that probably about 3 months ago at my brother-in-law's house.
Oh, you watched it recently?
Yeah, recently.
Wow, okay. Did you like it?
I liked it. Here's the thing. Honestly, I could see why that generation grew up hating clowns. I think that movie had a lot to do with
I think that movie was scary.
Yeah, it's because it was,
Wow, okay.
that movie was scary. It was creepy as fuck, dude. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
This is a take I haven't heard. I'm killing clowns.
exactly. I honestly think that movie is a particular reason that anyone born in that generation, like the 80s, the early 90s, why they're scared of clowns is because of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Okay. I like this take. What's your thoughts on Killer Clowns, Amanda?
I don't know. I don't watch fucking horror movies. Demon spirited.
We were going to watch Axe Giant for the show, and Amanda didn't want to watch it. Not because, like normal people, she thought it sucked. It was because she thought it might be too scary.
Exactly.
The Paul Bunyan story.
Why would you want to ruin a childhood fairy tale and have, I saw the previews, you ran through it, people were eating human flesh,
Amanda,
some bullshit was going on, and I didn't want to watch it.
Man, it looked like the biggest piece of shit.
No, it never did. It started off all innocent, and then all of a sudden people have axes and eating raw meat. That's not, something I want to remember Paul Bunyan for.
First of all, I'm not even sure that's what was happening in the scene we watched.
That was... where did they get the meat from?
They were camping.
Oh, so you think they speared an animal?
I don't know. I didn't watch the movie.
It wouldn't be
You wouldn't
considered
know
a horror.
how.
Exactly. Why the fuck would you want to watch some stupid shit like that?
Mike, do you have a favorite horror movie?
Favorite horror movie? Honestly, I don't know, man.
Speak a little louder.
A favorite horror movie? Honestly, I don't know, man. What's your favorite horror movie?
Mine, Halloween.
I haven't seen Halloween.
You've never
movie,
seen
but-
Halloween?
You've never seen any Halloween? You've not seen that.
I've never seen any Halloween movie. I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
You ever see Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I did.
Yeah, I've seen
I
that.
did.
Well, no, I'm talking about the original one, though. Not
I did not see the original
Okay,
one. No.
okay. Well, shit. You ever watch any of the Night of the Living Dead?
No. What about Skeleton Key? Does that count?
Skeleton Key?
Yeah. Does that count?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry to all your fans. I'm not a huge
Dude, you don't have to
horror movie person.
that makes me appreciate you listening to the show even more.
No, of course.
Amanda, what's your favorite horror movie?
Chucky.
Chucky?
Yeah, he's a nice doll.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, Chucky's the shit. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know if he's nice.
well, it depends on who you are. I personally, with my personality, we would mesh well together.
He kills people.
Well, maybe they should do what he says, and then that won't happen.
All right, fine.
Gotta
So,
get along with people.
So that's why you think he's killing everybody?
Well, they don't do what the fuck he asked. So, I mean, if you don't do what somebody asks, whatever they do as a result is not
You
your
think you
problem.
that cannot be your philosophy? This is ridiculous.
I'm just telling you.
Okay. Anyway,
You
so
see a
we're
doll tell you what to do, you better do it, because that's not like normal. So I will just go with the flow. Like, all right, Chucky, what you need me to do? You know, I'll help you out. You know?
yeah, fine, whatever.
Mm-mm.
So we're in Chicago, Mike. What's your favorite? What was your favorite part of this experience?
Favorite part of the Chicago experience so far? I'd say the food.
The food.
The food in Chicago is beyond amazing.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What was the favorite thing you ate?
Oh man, favorite thing I've eaten here is short rib. Surprisingly, we went to a spot in Naperville, Illinois, and had some short rib. I think the very next day, went to a spot in Aurora, Illinois, had some short rib.
Yeah, you did eat a lot of short.
I did eat a lot of short rib. But yeah, personally, I love the short rib here. I love every meal here has just been great. You know, they really put a lot of passion into cooking their food here.
That is true. Add some sweet potato, or what I have?
The pecan sweet potato pie.
Pecan sweet potato pie. I think that might have ruined pecan pie for me. Like, I don't think I can eat it anymore.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
It won't compare. Yeah. So we were actually out here for work.
Yeah, that part got in the way of all the fun.
Exactly.
I don't know. We still did a lot of.
I think we just did a lot. Yeah, we did touristy things. We did the Sears Tower. How'd that go, Joe? You want to tell your family?
They know I posted that.
They know yeah.
They know what?
They know
what?
You're deathly afraid of heights, and you're a punk.
I mean, I still went on it, didn't I?
Oh, please. And like I said, you're about to turn white. You were like a ghost.
I still went on it.
And you're like,
I don't get any points.
I'm
And
getting a pussy. Help me. Oh, my God. That's why I didn't go on the Ferris wheel, because I see there was a part 2 to that. Like, stuck to the wall. Like, that's no fun to scare yourself like that.
That's on my Snapchat. If anybody wants to see it, I'll repost that up.
Well, first of all, for somebody who didn't want to talk, you're doing an awful lot of fucking talking.
Listen.
Second, I don't get any props for overcoming my fear.
You didn't overcome the fear, because the first time you went on there, okay, fine, you're supposed to have the reaction. When you went in the Ferris wheel, you're supposed to be a little more calm. You were not.
No, you can't just overcome a fear in a day. I faced
It
my
was
fear
2
for 2
days.
days. It was 24 hours of each other.
Okay, so what else do we need to do to get you to
I don't know. I'll probably never get over that. I don't think
skydive?
that's not how. You're derailing me. That's not how fear works. You don't
That's
just
how fear works. Once
Yeah,
you've done it, you should be like, okay, internally you know that no harm was done as a result. So then you're like, okay, I can do this.
What's your biggest fear, Mike? What's your biggest fear?
Honestly,
Yeah.
my 2 biggest fears would be flying in heights.
Flying in heights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you went on. We both just did both of those things. Are
Exactly.
you over your fear?
No, not at all.
This sucking.
Not at all.
Oh, hey, it's not my fault. You two are a bunch of punks. Can't get over shit.
Listen, we got a flight tomorrow. You know, you got to think. If something happens to a plane in the sky, either it doesn't go all the way
I don't
wrong,
want to talk about
or
it.
you just die. That's why I'm scared of flying.
Okay, but you gotta always put that in somebody else's hands. Like, it's done. You have to do it. Be over it. We ain't here for a long time. Like I said, we're here for a good time.
Yeah, but I
Enjoy.
don't-
Stay in the present. You won't think about
But
it.
I can make that last longer if I stay
On the
on the ground. On the ground.
Oh, boy.
And besides, Amanda said you could just overcome your fear in a day.
No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you should be
You
less.
called me names and then said I should be over it.
Listen, less fearful. You should have been over it.
Should have been less fearful. Well, I got on the thing, so that would make me less fearful.
Not really. It didn't seem like it in that Snapchat. You were less.
You weren't even
fearful.
on it.
Well, I was because I wasn't paying $16 to get on a fucking kitty ass Ferris wheel.
It wasn't a kitty ass
That
Ferris
shit
wheel.
is a fucking kid
It
ride.
was not
I
a
was there when I
kitty
was
ass
like
Ferris
6
wheel.
years old.
That was
When Six Flags and Mass was Riverside. That was
that
like.
was the biggest fucking Ferris wheel
Right.
anybody's
Oh,
ever seen.
please, no, it's not bigger than the Colossus.
If anybody's
You
wondering,
watched the ride at Six Flags?
Yes, but
You don't
not
think that was
bigger
bigger?
than- No.
Amanda, I can see like Indiana from on the top
Shut
of
the
it.
fuck up. No, it was
That-
not.
this is ridiculous.
Either way, it's the same type of ride. You get in it, it goes all the way up, it comes all the way down. Ooh, I'm gonna pay you $16 for that? I'm gonna pay you $16 for that? Are you out of your fucking mind?
it's about the experience.
Thank you,
I've
Mike.
experienced
Thank you,
being on
Mike.
the goddamn Ferris wheel before, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but you haven't been on that one.
Oh, okay, I'm missing out on life. I better do something about it next time.
Well, yeah, so there you have that. Oh, man. Mike, what are you going to do when you get home?
Oh man, when I get home, I can't. First of all, I cannot wait to sleep in my own bed. But when I get home, probably just play with my dogs, eat a home cooked meal for once, since we haven't had that in like 2 weeks.
Man, I can't wait to eat veggies. I never
Right?
thought I'd say that.
We got
We ate way too much on this.
we ate way too much.
It's all good.
We had dessert with every meal. We had fries with almost every meal. Like it's time to eat a well balanced meal. for once.
Exactly.
I also want to put a wager down and see how much weight I gained.
Oh, stop. You didn't gain that much.
I don't know, man.
I don't think you did. You worked out like a madman the first week we were here.
Yeah, but then,
And then we did a
some
lot-
fucking asshole got me sick.
Oh, shit.
Yo,
Well,
I'm actually going to tell a story on this, and nobody's going to understand the reference that listens to this except for us in the car.
Okay.
Mike. You know that? So we're in training, and this lady comes in, and honestly, she sounds like she has the bubonic plague. She just coughs up the lung.
Yep.
And she has no reason to be there. She just sits up front and just coughs everywhere. And, it was honestly starting to really bother me, hurt me. Amanda is talking to our mentor.
Yo!
You weren't in the room, Mike. Amanda was talking to our mentor, and this lady, after coughing up a lung, just leans over Amanda like she's gonna
Basically,
kiss me.
like she wants to stick her fucking tongue down my throat. And she's
I've
talking to
ne-
our mentor,
I've
but
never-
she's like that close to me.
I have never
saying,
seen
hey,
anyone
I'm going to be
be
leaving the room.
that close, and all she was doing was like, I have to go to a meeting.
Yeah, like
Oh,
crass
come
ass,
on.
filthy ass, disgusted ass bitch. Like,
Well-
what the fuck are you doing in my face? That was such a violation of my personal space. I just couldn't get over it. I gave her almost the dirtiest look. I know that the mentor seen it and I feel bad, but I was so shocked.
I didn't feel bad. It was disgusting.
She was so close to me. Oh my god.
I will say that woman actually ruined your birthday because you were sick on your birthday this weekend.
I 100% agree.
And
She did ruin
It
my
ruined the
birthday.
experience.
I will never forgive her.
What? I missed that. I was looking at an article after.
What? Really?
What the fuck did you say?
I don't know why you're getting all bent out of shape.
I don't give a shit.
this is basically how our trip's been like, if anybody's wondering.
Yeah, because men don't listen.
You were the one that just made me repeat what I said.
I know.
Anyway,
I wasn't paying attention.
Mike, top 5 rappers, dead or alive. Go.
Top 5 rappers that are alive.
Yeah.
Nas,
Yep.
Big L,
Wow, okay.
Oh, yeah.
top 5. Rick Ross. I know people disagree with me, but
What'd
Rick
you say,
Ross.
man?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, go.
I'd say Rick Ross is out there. DMX is one of my top 5, and I think my last one, I'm gonna go with Jay-Z.
Okay.
I like it. I like that list. Nas, Big L, Rick Ross, DMX.
Take him out.
DMX. No, you know what? I like it. It's a unique list.
I honestly say right now, the guy putting out the most current songs, my favorite would be Rick Ross.
I respect it.
I mean, hey, we all love hip hop.
My buddy that I do this show with is a big Rick Ross fan.
Good. See, the thing is, like, you listen to his music, you just feel like you feel rich. Like you just feel accomplished just listening
It's
to it.
empowering.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
Man, the top 5 dead or alive.
Tupac,
Really?
Biggie. I like Tupac for his deepness.
Okay.
Tupac, Biggie.
I was just surprised because you're always.
Yeah, I'm not a
East
huge
Coast,
Tupac
East
fan,
Coast.
but we're talking about lyric.
Okay, yeah.
Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z and Fab is going to round it out. Even though I'm very, very disgusted with his behavior outside, it doesn't, his art is his art. So I'm just going to say that as a disclaimer.
But you think Fab's better than Jadakiss? Because they work together.
Yeah, I think Fab is better.
Right?
I wouldn't even put Fab in my top 20, honestly.
No, you're sleeping, kid. You're sleeping.
I don't think
you pick Rick Ross over Fab.
Absolutely.
You need to go back to the Soul Tape. You need to go all the way back to...
I wasn't a fan of the Soul Tape.
I'm a fucking ride. You need to go back that way.
I wasn't a fan of the Soul Tape, to be honest with you.
Well, then, no.
I mean, that song that you just sang was pretty good.
Okay.
Keeping It Gangsta, was that off that album?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping It Gangsta. Yeah, go back to that. My brother used to, love Fab. So that's how I got more interested in him. And I think as he's come up as an independent artist, he's been making a lot of money off mixtapes. And that will go to show you that people are digging his lyrical content.
All right, choose one. Red or Meth?
Meth. All day.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
All day.
I love Method Man.
I also love Method Man, but Redman's first 4 albums are 5-star class. We know. What the album?
Redman is fine, but he's not better than Method Man. That's all.
Yeah, but his discography is better.
No.
I like Method Man.
You can't really compare the two because
and lyrics
Meth came out with the Wu-Tang Clan. So his discography is going to be different.
No, I'm talking about solo, though.
Yeah, I'm saying, but they started at different times.
Okay.
When Redman came out, he came out as a solo artiste. Yes or no?
Yes.
Method Man, when he came out with
Wu-Tang. Yeah.
Exactly. They got the individual deals after that. So we would have to see if they started on the same level playing field, how that would sound. He had to blend in with a sound, even though it was still, they were all very unique. Method Man had to blend in with a sound.
So 2-1 Method Man. What about Raekwon or Ghostface?
Ghostface.
I agree, dude.
I agree.
I think Only Built for Cuban Links is one of the best albums ever.
Right,
but Ghostface, Purple Tape all day, but Ghostface, he's consistent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Nas.
Jay-Z.
I'm going Nas.
I'm going Nas too.
Listen, Jay's songs are more catchy, but Nas's lyrics.
Agreed.
Very Jay-Z.
Agreed. He has the better beats. He has better club
Jay-Z's
hits.
more my style.
See, the thing is...
Huh?
Why?
Because of his upbringing, he's just more my style. The way that he came up. He was selling drugs his whole life. He'd never been into jail for selling drugs. And at 25 years old, he decided to do something different. And I think he's a better businessman as well. So all of those things, it makes his swag a little different.
So what if I said you have to just do lyrics?
It would still be Jay-Z.
Okay, fine.
No.
I like it.
I disagree.
I also disagree.
You gotta go back. Yeah, no.
Trying to think who else I can throw out here. I like this topic.
Yeah, I'm digging it too, actually.
Rakim or Big Daddy Kane?
Big Daddy Kane. Just because he was more for the ladies.
I'm gonna go with Rakim lyrically.
So lyrically, I'd go with Rakim. Big Daddy Kane's flow is next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next level. I don't know. You choose one. Throw out a name.
For rappers or any genre?
I don't care. You can talk about whatever. Red Hot Chili Peppers or Weezer?
I don't even know Weezer, to be honest with you.
Red Hot.
All right. Green Day or Blink-182?
Green Day.
Okay.
Green Day. Classic, yeah.
Metallica or Slayer?
Shit, Metallica.
Metallica. You're wrong.
I'd say
Fucking
Metallica.
Slayer.
No.
Cannibal Corpse or Cryptopsy?
Neither, because I don't know
I'm only going with Cannibal Corpse because you introduced me to them. And it was a Hammer Smash.
Hammer Smash Face, yeah.
Yes, Hammer Smash.
It was catchy, right?
God.
You can dance to that.
Yeah, it was a good song.
People?
Honestly,
You were in the car when we played it.
Is that the one that you played after work? I was like, hey, boy!
why don't you?
That's exactly what it sounded like.
It does. Why don't you talk about Kumas?
Why don't you talk about Kumas?
I love Kumas.
Yo, this
What do you like about Kumas? So
I like the music.
So for those that don't know, Kuma's is a burger joint in Chicago. When Sean and I did our live show out here, we went to the one in Schaumburg, Illinois. It was awesome. The bathrooms just tatted up with tags, graffiti tags. They play horror movies and they play death metal and grindcore while you're eating your burgers, and the aesthetic is incredible. And you would expect when you go to a place like that to just see people in sleeveless jean jackets with their metal patches on their back, but no, it's all business people.
Yeah, you had people with shirt and tie. You had We were in there dressed up from work. I mean, you had all sorts of people there.
Top-notch burgers, all right?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
And honestly, the staff was friendly, and I love the fact that their staff was all tattooed up. They had gauges in their ears. Remember the girl brought us our food? She had earlobes down her shoulders.
Yep.
Yeah,
They had purple hair. Like, I love the fact that they
let
went,
their staff be themselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
They got to be authentic. They didn't have to hide their tattoos or anything.
Yeah, and Joe told me about this movie. Say the name again.
They live.
They live.
Yeah, I liked it. Because it had Rod Piper in there, and I love him.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Did you do an episode about They Live or no?
But that's not a scary movie.
It's not a scary movie.
No, that would be horror. I actually think so. The way that we choose our episodes is that they become Patreons. So they give us money each month, and if they do that, they can choose 3 movies that they want us to talk about, and then we choose one of them. So
Okay.
we let them choose. And I actually think They Live is coming up on one of our lists.
Oh, great.
I would love to do that. I met Roddy Piper. He actually did an intro for our show.
Really?
Shut up.
I'll play it. I'll play it for you.
Nice. Good job.
Rest in peace, Roddy Piper. And big ups, Kuma's, sponsor us.
Yeah, Kuma's is great.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you come to Chicago, I recommend it highly.
Yeah, please eat it. It is amazing.
I'm glad you brought Roddy Piper, because now I'm going to ask who are the top 5 wrestlers.
Oh, I
Never lie.
can't even
Never
do
lie.
it. I
Yes,
can't
you
even
can.
do it.
First
All
five.
right, of course, Andre the Giant.
Okay.
The Ultimate fucking Warrior.
Okay.
Shit. The Undertaker. I'm not gonna say Lex Luger. Of course, Hulkamania Brothers. And then Randy Savage.
That's a great top 5, man. Make some noise for that. Mike, did you watch wrestling?
I didn't watch much wrestling.
No.
I honestly didn't, man.
Not even the Attitude Era?
No, the only thing I would watch was SummerSlam at my friend's house every year. That was it.
Okay.
Oh, so you didn't know the lead up to the big show.
I did not.
You never,
you know
you never
what?
gave
But guess
anyone a
what?
stunner?
No, I've given people stunners, but like I've never watched wrestling though. But I learned that from seeing other people give people stunners.
Someone that didn't make that list, but I really love is Ric Flair. Woo!
Oh, Ric Flair's my top 5.
Yeah.
No doubt. Fuck, there's something I was going to ask. Damn.
What is this?
Mike, I'll do a page from Noriega. Do you eat ass?
Yes.
My wife will kill me if I answer that.
So that's a yes. Amanda, do you eat ass?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, there you have it, folks.
Wait a minute, what about you, Jovi?
I don't eat ass. They already know that. I've talked about that extensively on the show.
Okay.
You can't end off on that though, Joe. You gotta do something else.
I think that's a great note to end on.
I hate you for that.
We've had extensive ass-eating conversations on the show, and people write to us and like, of course we eat ass. Ooh.
Really?
I guess like the younger generation than us.
Maybe it's a delicacy. We don't know.
Delicacy.
Yeah. This is disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves.
No thanks. Tongues, but no tongues.
All right, Mike, what do you want me to end on? Give me a topic then.
Honestly, man, anything. I'm down
Anything
for
other than ass eating?
anything, yes.
Anything
Just
other than ass
something.
Shit.
In left lane.
We're driving, so we gotta focus. I'm gonna pause it. Mike doesn't want me to end on a crude ass eating subject. So, if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive. As of right this moment,
Yeah, any person.
I'm gonna sound very, very cliche
Go for it.
and say Barack Obama. Honestly,
Barack Obama.
Yeah.
If he asked you, would you eat his ass?
No, absolutely not. What do you? Yeah, absolutely not.
What if he gave you half his fortunes?
How much is Barack Obama actually worth, though?
More than what we have. More than what you have. It's a
Listen,
little tongue punch.
there's not enough.
Punch in that fart.
There's not enough money in the world to tongue punch a man's ass. I'd rather be homeless than to do that.
Okay. All right. Amanda, who would you have dinner with?
Probably Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Because I
Would you
wanna-
let him eat your ass?
Of course. But I was trying to get some money out of that somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't let him do it for free.
Yeah, you can't do
Yeah.
it for free. I mean, I'm doing him a favor.
What if he's really
really.
good at it?
I
She'll,
don't care.
she'll go
doing him a
back.
favor. When is he gonna be able to lick an ass like this? Never. Or he might, because he's got money, so he could probably pay some hot bitch to do it. But I mean, this is exclusive ass, so yeah, he'd have to pay me.
So, Mike, I think this is a good way to end it.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Mike, I know you want to plug something. Tell them where they can find you.
They can find me on all social media. Instagram, go Mike Brown. Snapchat, Mike Brown J. And then I just want to give a shout out to the Impure Prophets, George and Dame. Huge shout out to my wife Chandel. A huge shout out to some
man is getting impatient.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
A huge shout out to some of my boys up in Boston, Ferrier, Asen, and then last but not least, my boy Steve in LA.
There you have it. Amanda, what do you want to plug?
Okay.
All right, there you
You
have
have to go through Joe if you want it. I have to be screened. People got to screen.
Okay. I love
I'm
it.
not giving out nothing. Okay? Talk to Joe.
If they want to know it, can I give it to them?
We have to screen them first and find out.
I'm not screening shit. I'm just
You're
giving it
going to
to
do
them. All
something.
right, ask me about it, and I'll send you nudes.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
On the next episode of Dream.
It was an honor, Joe. Thank you.
You're welcome, man.